Welcome back, everyone, to 2Industry. I'm Hill. This is Mike Games, and on our far left we have Andrick. Hi, Andrick. What we came back is from this segment. We came back from the other segment of the PS4 and how we felt about that. We played games. Go and check it out. See what you think of it. If you haven't bought it already, if you've already bought it, see if it runs parallel to your own thoughts. But guess what? Guess what came out yesterday that we have here? What is it? Xbox Uno.
X1.
The X-Bone.
The X1. What the hell am I doing?
I hate the X-Bone thing.
I seriously said Uno.
Stop listening.
I said Uno and it went to it. Like, it went to the home screen. It can understand other languages. So, what we're going to start off with this first segment, I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about our impressions once we received it, once we taken it out of the box. My initial impression so far is that it looks very clean. It has a very slick UI compared to the PS4. I guess it's probably because I'm drawn to the colors. You know, I like colors.
You could actually choose your own color.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Mike chose red. Yeah. All right. And, I mean, the controller itself. So, we have the Xbox One controller here, and Xbox 360 controller. And the first thing that you notice is that the Xbox One controller is lighter.
Yeah, it's a lot lighter.
It's a lot lighter.
I think it's even a little thinner. Like, it's a little smaller, but it's bulkier up top.
So it's been working out. You know, it's been on the elliptic machine. And the buttons feel a little bit bigger as well. So that actually works out. And this is the day one controller. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what I feel here is that the joysticks are a little bit stiffer.
Much like with the PlayStation.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because it's just so new, but it feels a little bit stiffer. But you can get more of a response. I'm scared to press any buttons because I don't want Xbox to go make a sandwich or something. But it looks really good from my impression. The console itself is as huge as ever. It's just like any other Microsoft device, way bigger than it needs to be because they have to fit a fan in it somewhere. I think they even have a fan in their Surface, right? It's like a big fan just attached to it. But I have to hear your guys' thoughts because you actually own it. Mike, we're going to start off with you. This is your baby here. You've been waiting for this, along with the PS4, for a very long time.
I have.
What's your initial thoughts?
You know, I mean, I've been enjoying the heck out of the PS4, but now that I got the Xbox, I haven't even turned on my PS4.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
It's only been a couple of days.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, so far, the way I look at it, Microsoft has done its job. They wanted the Xbox to be the all-in-one device. Right. And so far, I've been using it like my all-in-one entertainment device.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on. You have like games, your movies, your music, and even switches over to your television very easily because you have it running through your DVR system, right?
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's your everything.
Pretty much, it is my everything.
It is your everything. You see what I did there? All right.
No, but I mean, I think I like the controller better than the 360 controller. The triggers are better because the triggers are wider. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. So the triggers are wider. So you won't make a mistake when you're shooting people in Call of Duty?
Yeah, I mean the triggers are wider. The bumpers actually feel a little cheaper.
And
I guess
what's weird too is that I think did they move the bumpers like up further?
They think they're actually a little higher. That's what
I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be weird. I hope there's no important games to actually use.
And the
that.
D-pad. The D-pad's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, the D-pad was a big change. A lot of, from a fighting gamer standpoint, the D-pad was like awful for the Xbox 360 and the previous Xbox, and now it's kind of separated, so it feels a lot more responsive. You can probably hear the clicking.
What do you think of the system so far?
Xbox. Well, I'll start off with the controller. Since we're just talking about that. Consider this is the freshman 15. It's a little heavier than it needs to be. It lost some weight and got in shape and got had a boob job.
Right, exactly.
And yeah, it's a nice controller. I think I was more shocked by the initial PS4 controller just because it was such a more dramatic redesign.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't played really too many games with this at all. I've been playing around with the UI and all that.
And you're going to get to a point in explaining why you haven't been playing too many games just yet.
Yeah, I'll get to that. But yeah, it's just, it feels like an Xbox controller, just a little bit better, a little bit sharper. So no complaints on that.
Yeah, it feels good.
It feels good in your hands. Then, I mean, the system itself, it was nice. There were a couple, like, my initial reactions to Xbox have never been, or Microsoft in general, have always been starting off in a negative, and it needs to prove itself to me.
Right.
It started off with the box. I felt like I actually got a game system because the box was really huge.
Yeah,
right.
Whereas, like, when you get the PS4...
You felt the $500 in your hand.
Yeah, I felt like I spent $500, which is good because when I got the PlayStation, it felt like I bought a laptop, which I guess would be even more expensive. But that being said, the initial reaction of opening it up, I kind of just felt like I was going through this ritual of taking everything out of the plastic bags and all that. And I kind of, it got me to a point where I actually had to straighten up my entertainment system.
Right.
Because I had to rearrange everything for everything else.
You didn't prepare for that?
No. I had waited until I got both systems so that way I could just do it all in one final swoop.
That's actually what I did. I started, as soon as I got it, I started just rearranging everything.
And I had heard that like the setup was going to take a while, so I kind of just set up.
Did you have any trouble with like the wiring or anything like that?
No, I'm one of those people. You throw a box of electronics in front of me, and I'm like, yeah, I can figure this out. The instructions,
right.
Fuck that.
Right, exactly.
So, I started setting it up, and it was pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it
seems simple enough. So
yeah,
that worked. It seems like not too many people are gonna have trouble with that, especially if you're a previous Xbox fan. It doesn't seem like
if you're a gamer, you shouldn't.
You say that somebody will...
You don't need the Geek Squad to come to your fucking house. Don't pay for that shit. Fucking just leave me a comment. I'll fucking help. Anyway, so it was very ritualistic for me to get all this shit out in front of my table and figure out where everything was going to go. It was kind of nice. I did have some issues setting it up, which Xbox tricks you into this. You need to now take your cable and go into... Well, I guess you don't have to, but it really wants you to put your cable box into the Xbox.
Okay.
And make it your all-in-one device, which explains why
so
it's so big.
It kind of like pushes you, nudges you into that direction,
yeah,
or something, like openly does it?
Yeah, if you want the full experience, it wants you to be the all-in-one. It wants you to go through that, which I can kind of appreciate. I can totally see that they put their hearts into making it not so much just a gaming console, but your everything console, which I get.
Right.
Which as a PS4, which I'll get into later, was more of, that's your gaming system. Right. It's meant for gamers. This was just trying to take over your living room. That being said, it's good. Like I had some initial problems setting my cable up through it, and it could have just been connection issues and all that. I had to restart it a couple of times, and it very well could have been my fault as well. I don't know if it read everything right, but anyways, I finally got it up and running about 45 minutes later, and I downloaded all the patches and all that.
So so the setup was pretty smooth, more or less.
Yeah, I had the same hiccups with the PS4, to be honest.
I think that's something you're just gonna run into with consoles in general. But okay, what about the UI and like the settings and being able to maneuver to the store? Or should we say that to the next segment? What do you think?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about the UI because that's what I've pretty much dealt with. Is the UI like everybody said, it's really snappy, very Windows 8. Right. There are some gripes I have with it, which I'll get into later again. But it's. If you initially look at it, you can navigate it. It's not that hard.
Yeah. The voice commands actually are something that I've been using a lot. I mean, my roommate thinks I'm just a crazy person talking to myself, but it's pretty straightforward.
Do you see yourself doing that in the future, though? Like, for me, it's like, God, I don't want to
talk.
I talk all day at work. Why do I need to fucking come home and talk?
No, you don't, I've always thought it was interesting that they wanted to include this feature and they put all of their efforts behind it because I've always felt that when people are watching something, they're not really wanting to speak. You know, this is not one of those comment alongs that you see at like a movie theater, you know, where they encourage people to talk along with the movie or something like this. When you're watching a television, when you're playing a game, you don't really want to talk to that game.
Well, actually, it came in handy for me today.
Okay.
I mean, this is my TV room, so I came in here with my breakfast, watched TV, and I mean, I just walked in, and instead of having to fiddle around with dozens of remotes to turn on my TV, turn on my Bose system, turn on my cable box, I was like, Xbox on, and it just turns everything on.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So, I mean, I thought that was really neat. I just walk into the room, say Xbox on, and all those devices turn on.
Can it do it with smart glass as well?
I believe, yeah. Smart glass is something I set up last night, which I had a pretty good experience with. There's a separate one for 360. If you don't know, there's a separate one for 360. There's a separate one for Xbox One. And it's pretty easy to set up. It finds your network, and you're good to go. Basically, it's the same UI.
And also, I don't know if you guys can, show your hand, but you can also control the interface with your hand as well. So you can do it via voice, you can do it via hand gestures, and you can do it via smart glass and the controller. So you have all of that available to you, so it's very unique. Now, what we're going to do next, in this next segment, we're going to play one of these games while further talking about our great experiences of the Xbox One and any of our gripes. So check out the next.
All of our gripes.
Andrew's gripes and Mike's great experiences.
Yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, speaking of first experiences, I mean, I've actually been enjoying it. The one thing I don't like is everything does look really clunky in the UI.
Save it to the next segment. So
right.
everything looks clunky in the UI.
Clunky.
All right.
Compared to the PlayStation 4.
To be continued. Catch you in the next segment.
Be there.